Namaskar bachcho, welcome to the virtual class. I am very happy to see you once again in this virtual class, and in the previous episode we have seen the history of atoms and molecules, and we have seen that the law of chemical combinations, in that law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. Moving further, we have seen that Dalton's atomic theory, various postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Can you recall all those things? According to the first postulate of Dalton's atomic theory, it says that all the matter is made up of tiny particles, and we call that tiny particle as atom. And these atoms are involved in chemical reaction. In the second postulate, we have seen that atom is an indivisible particle which can neither be created nor be destroyed. The same thing we related with the law of conservation of mass. And in the third postulate, we have seen that atoms of the same element have same size, atomic mass, and they have same chemical properties. We have also seen that atoms of different elements have different masses, different sizes, and have different chemical properties. And we have also seen that the relative number and kinds of atoms present in an element or in a compound are fixed. This thing we have related with the law of chemical combination, that is law of constant proportion. Now we will learn what is an atom. Before knowing about the atoms, we have to recall some of the concepts which we have learned in the previous chapter, that is matter around us pure? So it was a question mark for us, and we found out that the matter which is available in the universe may be broadly classified into two categories. So here is the matter, and this matter can be classified broadly into two categories. One is the mixture and another one is the pure substance. Element is a pure substance which is made up of only one type of particles. That means the entire element will be composed of only one kind of particle. Take an example of iron, which is an element. Why it is called element? Because all the particles, the so-called atoms, are iron atoms. So iron is an element which is made up of the atoms of iron. That means an element is made of only one kind of particle. So we learned that atom is the smallest particle of an element. Now to understand the atom, we take an example here. Look at here, a mason is building a wall. When these walls are combined, we get a room, and several rooms make a building. So the building block of a huge building will be the brick what the mason has been using. The structural unit of the entire building is a brick. Likewise, when we take an example of the matter, the building block of all the matters that exist in the universe is atom. Children, from the Dalton's atomic theory, we learnt that every matter is made up of tiny particles. We called it as atom. Now we should have a feel about the atom, how big the atom is or how small the atom is. It is very interesting to see from the video that the size of the atom is so small that even with a high power microscope we cannot see the structure of an atom. The size of the atom is expressed in nanometer. What is this nanometer? 1 meter is equal to 10 to the power 9 nanometer. That means 1 nanometer, if expressed in meter, then 10 to the power minus 9 meter. 10 to the power 9 meter means the value you can see here 0.00. These many zeros, such a small thing is the atom. Studying about such a smallest thing is very difficult. Now you may be asking that the size of the atom is so small and even we cannot see with our naked eye or with the help of high power microscope, then why should we study about atoms? Children, as we know that the matter exists in the universe are made of atoms, or we can say that the building block of all the matter is atom. So studying about atom is so important. Now the size of the atom is measured in nanometer. Among the available elements in the nature, hydrogen is the only element which have the smallest sized atom. So the atom of hydrogen element is so small, that is 0.37 nanometer. Its atomic radius is about 0.37 nanometer. Then if you have a feel about 0.37, beyond our imagination, such a small is the atomic size. From the Dalton's atomic theory, we learned that what is an atom, the smallest particle of an element, and what are the behavior of an atom. Children, Dalton was the first scientist who was very interested to give symbols to the elements. He used to give the symbols. See here, these are the modern day symbols of different elements proposed by John Dalton. Now we will see how the symbols of different elements are represented. According to J.J. Bergelius, he proposed that the symbol of the elements may be the English alphabets from the name of the elements. Take an example here, the hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. These are the elements, and the first letter is being used to represent as a symbol for these elements. Now look at another set of elements, calcium, neon, argon. So these are the elements which have the symbols with two letters. To represent these symbols, they used first letter and second letter as the symbol for these elements. Similarly, look at here magnesium. The symbol of magnesium is Mg. Here you can see that the first letter is M and the third letter is used. So for deriving the symbol of magnesium element, the first letter and the third letter is being used for the symbol. Similarly, you can see chlorine. Chlorine is the element with the symbol Cl. Here also you can see the first letter and the third letter is being used for representing the symbol of chlorine. So there are many elements for which the symbol is written by using the first and third letter of the element. Dear children, there are few elements which are derived from the Latin names or Greek names. Sodium is the name of the element expressed in English, whereas the same element has Latin name, that is natrium. Similarly, potassium, you see here, potassium is the name of the element expressed in English, whereas the same element is actually derived from Latin name. So the original name of potassium is kalium, and the symbol for this element is derived from the Latin name. So the symbol of potassium is K, not P or some other letters from the English name of the potassium. Similarly, some other elements are given in the table, the English name and the Latin name, and you can find here that the symbols are originally derived from the Latin names, not from the English names. Similarly, some of the rules need to be followed while writing the symbols of the different elements. What are those rules? The first letter of the symbol must be in capital letters or in uppercase. The second letter followed by the first one should be written in small letters. For example, the symbol of hydrogen is H. H is always written in capital letters. Similarly, the carbon, the symbol of carbon is the first letter of carbon, that is C, and it must be expressed in capital letters. Whereas the symbol of sodium is Na, the first letter should be capital, but the second letter should be in small letter or lower case. Now we learn about atomic mass. So when we studied about atom, as we know that the building block of all the matter exists in the universe, and knowing about the mass is also equally important. What is mass? About that we have to understand, and we should have a feel about the mass. For better understanding, we relate mass of any object with respect to the weight of the object. Generally, when we go to the market for purchasing vegetables and all, the shopkeeper used to weigh by using a balance. So we call it as the mass. By knowing the mass, we can identify how heavy the object is. Similarly, we have studied that matter is anything in the universe which occupies space and have mass. What is that mass? The matter must have some heaviness. The heaviness may be small or large, we are not much concerned about that, but the matter, if the matter have some mass, that means the matter is made up of the building blocks, we call it as atom. Atoms must have some mass. How can we find the mass of the atom? What will be the weight of that atom? How heavy the atom will be if we think beyond our imagination? As we know that the size of the atom is very, very small, that we cannot see even with a high power microscope, then how can we weigh such a smaller one? If you keep a small piece of paper on your palm, you will not have even the feel of the paper. Though you can see the size of the paper, but you are not having feel about the paper, then how can you feel about the weight of a single atom which we cannot see? Very interesting, right? Children, actual mass of the atom or the element is very, very small. And if you know about the mass of hydrogen, you can see here it is about 1.673 into 10 to the power minus 24 gram. If I expand this figure, you will get 0.000, this figure you can see here. And in the universe, we are dealing with the mass of the matter, and if you do the calculation process by using this figure, it is very, very complicated one. It is very difficult for us to understand the chemical reactions if we follow the numerical value, such a large and complicated values. So in order to simplify this figure, some of the relevant units the scientists were searching about, and accordingly some units were found out. Based on the units, we can easily find out the mass of different elements. And as we know that the size of the atom is very, very small, and plenty of elements are exist in the universe, and finding mass of each element separately is not the easy task. To find the mass of different elements exist in the earth, relative atomic mass has been found out. With that relative atomic mass, we do the calculation process. Now we will see how the relative atomic mass of different elements are found. Children, to understand the concept of atomic mass, in your textbook a watermelon has been taken, in which a watermelon is cut into 12 equal units. The fruit seller used to find the mass of other fruits with reference to the unit of each watermelon pieces. Similar arrangement is done to find the relative atomic mass of different elements. How it is done, about that we will see. It was found by experiment that the mass of carbon atom was found to be 1.9926 into 10 to the power minus 23, as you can see here. And it was found that the carbon 12 atom can be equally divided into 12 units, and each unit, when divided with the value of the mass of carbon atom, each unit of carbon atom was found to be 1.6605 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. Knowing this information, the mass of other elements were found. Now we learn how this unit could be used to find the relative atomic mass of other elements. Now in the earlier case we have seen that the fruit seller used the unit of the watermelon to find the mass of other fruits. Likewise, here carbon atom is divided into 12 equal units, right? By using these units, Dalton used to find the atomic mass of other elements. How it is done, about that we will learn. Just before we have seen that mass of each carbon 12 atom, the mass of each carbon 12 atom was found to be equal to 1.9926 into 10 to the power minus 23 gram. So this was the value found out experimentally, and we learned that when carbon 12 atom is divided, then we will get 12 equal units. Mass of each unit of carbon 12 atom, that is 1/12 the mass of carbon 12 atom, will become 1.9926 into 10 to the power minus 23 gram divided by 12. So by solving this, we will get 1.6605 into 10 to the power minus 24 gram, right? So this will be 1/12 the mass of carbon 12 atom. Since 1/12 the mass of carbon atom has taken as a standard unit for measuring relative atomic mass of other elements, so here 1/12 the mass of carbon atom is the atomic mass unit through which relative atomic mass of other elements are found. So in place of 1/12 the mass of carbon atom, which has taken as the standard unit for measuring relative atomic mass of other element, so here one atomic mass unit will be equal to 1.6605 into 10 to the power minus 24. The standard unit, one atomic mass unit, which is also written as AMU. Nowadays in place of AMU we use U as the standard unit for finding atomic mass. Here U is the unified mass. So this will be our unit for finding the atomic mass of other elements. We learned that 1 AMU is equal to 1.6605 into 10 to the power minus 24 gram, right? So here 1 AMU, or we can write U. So here onwards we will use, instead of AMU we will use U. You can see on the right side of this screen that a balance, on the left hand side you find hydrogen atom is kept for finding its relative atomic mass. The weighing balance become equal when we add 1 unit mass of carbon 12. This shows that the relative atomic mass of hydrogen is equal to 1 U. So the mass of each hydrogen atom will be equal to 1 U. Similarly, for finding atomic mass of helium, you can see the screen where I need to add 4 unit mass of carbon. So when I add 4 unit mass of carbon, then the mass of each helium atom is found to be equal to 4 atomic mass unit of carbon. So the relative atomic mass of helium is equal to 4 U. Similarly, to find the relative atomic mass of oxygen atom, you see the balance right on the screen. In order to balance the oxygen atom, we need to add 16 unit mass of carbon. Here we can see that the mass of oxygen becomes equal when I add 16 unit mass of carbon. This shows that the relative atomic mass of oxygen is found to be 16 unit. So this way relative atomic mass of other elements can be found out by using unit mass of carbon as a standard measuring unit. Dear children, now we learn how do atoms exist in the universe. Some of the atoms are freely available in the universe. We call such elements as noble gas. For example, helium, neon, argon. So these are the elements which are available in the universe in free state or native state. But most other elements are available in the universe in two ways or two forms. What are those forms?
Let us learn what is a molecule. Children, a molecule is an electrically neutral group of two or more atoms chemically bonded together. This molecule is again classified into two categories. One is molecule of elements and molecules of compound. Now let us see what is a molecule of element. As we know that all the atoms cannot exist in the universe in free state. Apart from noble gases, other atoms cannot exist freely in nature. So these atoms of the elements are combine themselves and they make molecules. So we can say that the molecule of an element contains two or more similar kind of atoms chemically bonded together. That means atoms of the same element combine to give molecule, and these molecules are called molecules of elements.
Take an example here, oxygen. You can see that two atoms of oxygen combine to form oxygen molecule. Here you see one oxygen atom and another oxygen atom combines, and finally you get a molecule. We write it as O2. Similarly, hydrogen, you see here one hydrogen, two hydrogen atoms are combined to form a hydrogen molecule. This way the gases, most of the gases are available in the form of molecule. We call these molecules are formed by the combination of atoms. Here you can find that same atoms are combined to form molecules. So we can say that the molecules are formed by atoms. So the molecule so formed is called molecules of elements. Compound is formed by combination of two or more different atoms in a fixed ratio. Take an example here, carbon dioxide. Here you can see two different atoms are combined. Carbon is one atom and two atoms of oxygen are combined to form a carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is considered to be a compound. In this, these atoms are combined in a fixed ratio. In carbon dioxide, you will find one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen. Next example you see here, water. In water you will find two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, and these atoms in water molecule is combined in a fixed ratio, that is 1:8. You see here, pure substance is classified into elements. When the atoms are combined, when two or more same type of atoms are combined, then we will get a molecule. Similarly, here you see the pure substance is again classified into compound. What is a compound? Compound is a mixture of or combination of two or more different elements combined in a fixed ratio. So carbon dioxide, water, these are the examples of compound. The smallest particle of compound is called a molecule, and here in this case we have seen that atoms of same elements when combined, also we will get a molecule. So molecule can be exist in two different ways. One is when two or more same atoms are combined, we call it as molecule, and another molecule is the smallest particle of a compound is also an example of molecule. So you should not get confused between the molecules of elements and molecules of compound. Now we see about atomicity. Atomicity is the number of atoms present in a molecule is known as atomicity.
The number of atoms present in one molecule of an element is called its atomicity. When we talk about molecules, previously we have learnt that the molecules are of two types: molecules of elements and molecules of compound. Here in this section we will see the atomicity of molecules of elements. Based on the number of elements combined to form a molecule, the atomicity may be classified into different categories. Since the atomicity plays a very important role to express the molecules of elements correctly. Now firstly we will see the monoatomic molecules. We know that atomicity is the number of atoms present in one molecule. Monoatomic molecule means the molecule which contain only one atom. Examples of monoatomic molecule are helium, neon, argon. So He is the symbol of helium. I will write helium here. So all these elements are monoatomic molecule. Children, note here that the symbol of helium is written as He. Similarly, the molecule of helium has also been written He. So the helium atom and the helium molecule both will have same symbol or same formula, we can say. Apart from noble gases, metals such as sodium, the symbol of sodium is Na, the symbol of magnesium is Mg. All these elements are monoatomic, and similarly some of the non-metals such as carbon is monoatomic. Children, see here the metals which are solid in nature and the non-metals which exist in solid, all are monoatomic. So the formula of monoatomic molecule can be written just its symbol. Now we see second type of molecules of elements, that is diatomic molecules. Look at these examples. You can see that oxygen, 2 atoms of oxygen is there in oxygen molecule. In hydrogen there are 2 hydrogen atoms. In nitrogen there are 2 nitrogen atoms. So here the atomicity of oxygen molecule, hydrogen molecule and nitrogen molecule are 2. So these are called diatomic molecules. The molecules of elements which have atomicity of 2, then those molecules are called diatomic molecule. Similarly, some other examples also we can take. Fluorine is a diatomic molecule, chlorine is another diatomic molecule. So these are the examples of diatomic molecule. To find whether a molecule is a diatomic or not, just you count the number of atoms present in the molecule. Here in all the cases you can find that the total number of atoms present in the molecule is 2. So these are the examples of diatomic molecules. So whenever oxygen and these molecules are always found in diatomic, and the formula should be memorized. So now we see the next one, that is a triatomic molecule. In the earlier section we have seen that oxygen is a diatomic molecule, and this is the oxygen molecule which we breathe in for respiration process. So in the atmosphere the gas which is present is this oxygen, that is diatomic oxygen molecule. Here you see O3 is an example of triatomic molecule. O3 is ozone. The molecular formula of ozone is O3. See here the atomicity of O3 is 3. That is why it is called a triatomic molecule. In triatomic molecule, the total number of atoms present in a molecule must be 3. So here ozone you see O3. So 3 atoms of oxygen are there. So this is the example of triatomic molecule. Now you see the next one, tetraatomic molecule. In tetraatomic molecule, the total number of atoms should be 4. So example of tetraatomic molecule is P4. Phosphorus is a non-metal and exists in P4 combined form, thereby forming tetraatomic molecule. So phosphorus is the example of tetraatomic molecule. Now we see next type of molecule, that is octaatomic molecule. Sulfur forms S8. Sulfur has 8 atoms in its molecule. So 8 is octa. Here octa means 8 number. When the atomicity is 8, then the molecule will be called octaatomic. Mostly we use monoatomic and diatomic molecules. The triatomic molecule, tetraatomic and octaatomic molecule are also known as polyatomic molecule. The molecule which have the atomicity 3 or more than 3, we can call such molecules as polyatomic molecule. Now we will see atomicity of molecules of compound.
So we take an example here, carbon dioxide. So here in carbon dioxide you will find that one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen. So the total number of atoms present in carbon dioxide is 3. So the atomicity of carbon dioxide is 3. Likewise, you can find atomicity of various other compounds or molecules by counting the number of atoms present in a compound or a molecule. So based on today's learning experience, I would like to give some easy home assignments which you can practice at home. Here is your home assignment. Hope you will do all these home assignments very easily. Dear children, that's all we have for today's class. In the next episode, we will be seeing about the chemical formula, how to find chemical formula and other terms related to these atoms and molecules chapter. Till then, take good care of yourself. Bye.